In the middle of a violent squall on the Sea of Galilee, a man steps out of a boat and onto the water. For a few incredible moments, the surface holds his weight, but he doesn't stay there. He doesn't fall because of a wave or a sudden loss of balance. He begins to sink the exact second he stops looking at his goal and starts looking at the storm around him. Failure rarely happens all at once. Catastrophic collapses, whether they are personal, relational, or moral, don't usually start with a sudden leap. The records from Genesis through the Gospels reveal a consistent pattern behind these moments of compromise. There is a heavy, quiet pull that works on the mind, a force that tries to drag our attention away from what is true and fix it firmly on our immediate circumstances. As we look at these ancient accounts, it becomes clear that the distance between security and ruin isn't measured in miles. It's measured in the quiet, incremental moments when our focus begins to shift. This pattern of shifting focus traces back to the very first crisis in Eden. The approach ignores direct force. It relies instead on a single, subtle question. Did God really say? An invitation to look away from the rule and toward the doubt. The text breaks this temptation down into three distinct appeals: the flesh, the eyes, and personal pride. Working together, these pull the mind away from an objective command. Eventually, the physical appeal looks more real than the instruction. Even the most faithful figures in these stories struggle with this shift. Years later, we see it happen to Abraham. Facing the immense stone pyramids and the overwhelming power of Egypt, Abraham froze. He chose to manage the danger he could see by lying about his wife, rather than trusting the invisible promise he had been given. Once physical sight replaces internal focus, the mind begins to rationalize. We tell ourselves compromise is the only way to survive the situation in front of us. The trajectory of Lot provides the clearest look at how this process unfolds over time. His first error was visual. He chose the prosperous-looking land, sitting right next to corrupt Sodom. He didn't move in immediately. He stayed outside the border, keeping the danger in his line of sight. That proximity eventually led to total assimilation. Lot became a leader, fully absorbed into the culture he once watched from a distance. Today, the land Lot chose is a barren salt waste. The lush fields are gone, replaced by the heavy silence of the Dead Sea. This geographical slide follows the same internal logic as Peter's panic on the Sea of Galilee. It is a universal progression. First we tolerate the distraction, then we move toward it, and finally we are lost to it. We see the ultimate confrontation of this pattern when Jesus begins to explain his coming death. Peter immediately tries to stop him. Peter is focused entirely on what he can see. He wants an earthly kingdom and a physical victory, not a spiritual sacrifice. In Peter's protest, Jesus hears the same whisper that drifted through Eden. He addresses the source of the compromise immediately, refusing to let the suggestion take root. Where Eve, Abraham, and Lot all looked away, Jesus kept his focus. He accepted the path ahead because it was what the Father required. That singular focus led him through these ancient stone gates and toward a Roman cross. The only way to survive the pull of compromise is to refuse the shift. It requires a steady, singular gaze on the truth, no matter how high the waves begin to rise.